Welcome back to Beyond the Build, where construction, entrepreneurship, and family life intersect. I'm Diana.
And I'm Sean. Let's dive in. We've got Josh Olson here today. We're going to have a deep conversation with our COO, Chief of Operation, Josh himself, in the building. His background before Skelly Build, what drew him to the company, and how his leadership has transformed our operations over the last 4 or 5 years. The episode will also look ahead, how operations must evolve to support our future, and what it really takes to scale without sacrificing quality, culture, or people. Josh, we are happy to have you here.
Happy to be here.
Yes.
Hi, Josh. See you all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, to start, we really want you to kind of give us your own intro about yourself, where you're from, and then how you got to the spot that you're in right here.
Yeah, thanks. So I've been in construction going on 20 plus years. Started in Long Beach, California, building custom cabinets with my dad. Did that for some time, and then I ended up moving to Las Vegas in my 20s. I was in Las Vegas for 15 years, and I primarily did bank remodels. I worked for Bank of America, Nevada State Bank, Chase Bank, Washington Mutual, Merrill Lynch. And so I was part of a team that worked directly with JLL, which was where the Bank of America properties were actually owned by, and we would build flagship banks. I also did a lot of tape and float work, got into all the trades, and I could really go on a tangent about how the recession of 2008 really affected my life in Las Vegas, since it pretty much brought that city to a halt. And that's really what kind of dove me into the world of general contracting, because I had to just do whatever it took to survive. At one point, I even had an ad on Craigslist saying I would do whatever you needed me to do for $20 an hour, as long as you paid me at the end of the day. Got into plumbing, got into drywall, tile, you name it, framing, carpentry. And so, yeah, I did that. And then in 2018, my wife, who's a director for Sport Clips, was given an opportunity to come here to Austin, Texas. And we thought it was a great place to raise our child. And so we took the leap, and then I came out here and built a 4-story hotel, Marriott Town Place Suites, and then ended up getting into commercial construction and worked primarily doing office space remodels up until the COVID big bust, where people were no longer going to the office anymore. Mm-hmm. And so that frankly brought me into your guys' world, getting back into the custom high-end luxury home market.
Awesome. Josh is a very, very humble human being. His construction experience is extensive. So, kind of to summarize your transition, you started in a custom cabinetry shop. Yep. So you really started on the trade side, right? You were in the cabinetry shop. Mm-hmm. You were doing whatever you needed to do for your dad to make his shop work.
It started when I was pretty young, Sean, because I actually built cabinets in high school. I would go to school, I would go do football practice, and I'd ride the bus to my dad's shop. And I'd work till 9, 10 o'clock at night building cabinets with my dad. So when people say that I started young, I really did start young, 14, 15 years old.
Yeah. I know you helped on some of that ARIA construction, right?
Yep.
You were kind of
City
still
Center.
City Center. You're still on the trade side of that project.
Yep.
2008 happens, and you kind of switch, right? Is that the transition from trades to GC?
So before 2008, I had got a job as a project manager working for Home Depot. And I ran a Home Depot Home Services division where I managed all 13 Home Depots in Las Vegas. And so I had done that actually for a couple of years. And when 2008 hit, we went from running, 300 kitchens to like running 10 of them almost overnight. And so me and my buddy, who was another project manager, decided to start our own company.
Got it.
And we pivoted from there.
So you're in the trades for a while.
Yep.
You got this Home Depot opportunity where you're kind of installing their own kitchens that the clients would design at Home Depot.
Correct.
You did that for a couple of years. 2008 hit, Las Vegas shifts tanked, and then you and your buddy start your own cabinet company, or what was that?
So our company name is called Finish Pro Builders.
Yeah.
And we basically, we would do kind of anything that came up. We were doing cabinet installs. My life drastically changed because I actually got the opportunity to work for AT&T. AT&T in Michigan actually gave me a call and said, hey, we want you to go into all the malls. We want you to demo out all the kiosks for the phones. We're going to start doing standalone stores. And so I would go to a city. I would go to the mall. I was responsible for demoing it all, which was really tough work because I could only do it at night, when the mall wasn't in action. and I would actually make it look like it was never there. I'd replace the VCT. And at this point, it was just me and my buddy doing all the labor. So we did 100% of the work. And then they would tell me a location in that city where they wanted to do a standalone store. And I would actually go in there and do a TI finish out. I'd smooth coat all the walls. I would do new ceiling grid. I'd do new carpet. I'd actually run electrical for all the gondolas and the fixtures that hold the phones that you, when you go into a cell phone store now and see. And so I did that for quite some time. I actually did all of San Diego, all of Los Angeles. I did Tucson, Arizona. I did Phoenix. I did Chandler. So that actually kept me busy for quite some time.
Yeah. So it seems like a lot of stores. I mean, there's a lot of malls there, I assume. And
it was a
every
lot.
mall's got at least one AT&T store.
And
so.
you had a young child at that point too.
I did.
So you were working during the day and then you were working in the evening.
Well, a lot of times I actually had a trailer and I would just pull up and live in the trailer.
Oh, wow.
And I'd give it a good 3-4 weeks of just nonstop work. I mean, I used to start at 6 in the morning and finish at 7 at night because, I wasn't getting paid hourly. I was getting paid to finish the job. Mm-hmm. So yeah, a lot of times I would just live there until I was done with the store.
When did the banks come in?
So after AT&T kind of phased out, I did a couple Harbor Freights, and then I did some Ross department stores. It was taking a toll on my marriage because I had to live at these properties. I was not seeing my wife. I was not seeing my son. And so it just came to a point where I said, I can't do this anymore. And the money was great, but my personal and social life was terrible. Yeah. So I decided that I was just going to get a job and stop working for myself, which was a tough decision. And that's when I got hired as a superintendent, and they put me into the bank scene. And so they used to actually run my background every single day because I'd be locked in banks at night to remodel them. And so yeah, I've got some crazy bank stories. This is a funny one. At one point, we had set off the alarm, didn't know we set off the alarm, and I look outside and there's literally the full SWAT team, guns pointed at me and all my buddies in the bank. And they made us go outside, lay down on our faces, and they had to check us. And
what happened? Well,
I ended up calling the owner or the manager of the bank, and they verified who I was. And, but it was a moment.
That is interesting. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
So Taryn had the opportunity to move to Austin for her job, and that's what brought you here.
Yeah. Well, the bank thing, I mean, to kind of go back, it kind of elevated. They saw me as an extremely good superintendent, and so I ended up getting promoted to run like a facilities maintenance for Bank of America. So handle all of their countless issues that they have, whether it's their ATM machines or it's the vault not working or it's the Kevlar underneath the cabinets that needs to get changed out. So I actually, as like a project manager, managed that division for about a couple years. And that was also tough because I would have to set all the jobs up during the day, and then I'd actually have to check into the bank when they closed. And one of their rules is that you were locked in the bank. So I'd be locked in the bank pretty much all night and get done at 3-4 in the morning to make sure that the bank was fully operational again before actually leaving the bank. So again, it got to a point where I was like, okay, then personal life, social life's taking a toll, making good money, but
lifestyle isn't there.
Lifestyle isn't there. And so when Taryn got that opportunity at the time, my wife was managing several locations in Las Vegas for Sport Clips, and they offered her the role to come out here to Austin. I jumped on it because at that point I was like, hey, I can pretty much do construction anywhere.
Yeah.
And Las Vegas is not a good place to raise a kid.
Yeah. And so I guess to bring Maverick in, when was he born in this whole journey?
So Maverick was born the year of the recession in 2008.
So that probably made it really hard then. You have this new kid.
Yep.
Las Vegas had just tanked.
Yeah, it was.
You got no work.
It was very stressful.
You were young, very stressful.
Very young.
Your work ethic is incredible.
Yes. So you come out here, you build a 4-story
Marriott Town Place Suites.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my first taste into multifamily in Texas, and it runs quite different than anything I had ever seen before. And why certainly, it's a notch on my belt. They had asked me if I wanted to go to Dallas to do another one, and again, I was going down that flight path of not being home, and I declined that.
Josh has an extensive background. He's lived like 20 lives in his one young life already, which is pretty incredible. Like, not many people have this type of resume.
Yeah, and I'd like to...
I don't even think you can put all this on your resume.
So 4 or 5 years ago, I got a small story. We needed to hire a operations manager at the time, right? We were growing and accelerating. And so Josh's resume was 7 or 8 pages of single space text.
Size 8.
And Josh is a wonderful writer. Like, he writes a lot of reviews, a lot of our SOPs, and like his writing is very good.
Yeah.
And so you read this, and this is like pre-chat GPT, right? So like, this was not made up.
You knew it was authentic.
This was authentically handwritten. And Josh, it came down to, we had 2 people that we were going to hire. It was you and someone else.
I think he knows this.
Do you know the story?
I mean, I think you briefly mentioned it.
Yeah. We had both interviews with individually and then with the team. And then we had the team talk about it. And really it came down to like, who do you want on your side when a situation arose, whether it was a sub, whether it was
a client or
internally. Like, we have this superstar construction guy who's so unique. He's a unicorn. He's seen the trade side. He's been a site super. He's owned his own business. He's been a PM. He's run divisions. Or this other candidate, who was a great candidate too. But it was very clear that you were the unicorn, and everybody voted for you, and it was obvious that you were the one.
Nice.
And so that was just kind of it takes me back, because he had a 7-8 page resume.
I didn't know that. I didn't know you had a 7 or 8 page resume. That's pretty incredible. Wow. So before Skelly Build, what experiences shaped the way you lead today?
I think I offer a unique perspective for the team because I do come from all the backgrounds. I know what it's like to work physically hard. I know what it's like to work mentally hard. And so I think a lot of the strategy I implement is getting each person to understand the other person's perspective and aligning it all to complement the business.
Yeah, I think one of the basics is you have a vast knowledge of construction, and not everybody that always is in an operations type role has started like with bags on. So that's given us a huge advantage, because everybody in the organization knows they can ask you about like all these technical questions and ideas too. So,
from your perspective, how is Skelly Build different than the previous companies you've worked for?
And I also think, by the way, you've changed a lot over the last 4 years.
Oh, absolutely.
And we've talked a lot about that too, like, and maybe touch on that a little bit, like what you see as the biggest internal changes that you've made.
For starters, it starts with you and Sean. I mean, you guys are awesome, and you guys truly care about people and their spaces. No pun intended.
Pun intended.
Pun intended. But no, you guys are genuinely good people, and I think that's where it starts, with people that are real, and you guys work very hard and you're very dedicated. So that was the first thing that really attracted me, was meeting you guys and thinking, okay, here's 2 other people who have the energy that I have in life, and have goals and want to attack something and be the #1 builder in Austin.
So there wasn't any concern about working for a married couple in the beginning?
Oh, there was definitely concern. I've
never asked that question.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in all transparency, yes, I was very concerned.
You should be. Yeah.
Naturally, I think everybody knows how tough it is to be a married couple and run a business. And so, there was certainly in the back of my mind, I was like, how is this? How do they do it? And after being with you guys for 4 years, you do it great. You do it great. And I think you're able to compartmentalize business and your personal life. And I think that's a skill that not a lot of people have. And so it's really been awesome to see you guys do what you do. And I've really enjoyed it.
Cool.
And we've worked on that a lot too.
So how has your leadership style transformed over the last 5 years?
One of the weird things about me is I was a do everything myself person. And I was very obsessed with that. I was obsessed with, I don't have to call anybody to do a damn thing. I can do it myself. And I had to actually get rid of some of that mentality to be a good leader, and realize that delegation is an important skill, and how you go about delegating is an important skill. And so I think in this last 5-year stretch, I've really learned to allow people to blossom and possibly make mistakes and coach them through it to make them better. when a lot of times I know I can do it better myself. That's been a really hard thing for me to digest, but I'm getting better at it in my personal opinion.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the hardest things that any leader deals with.
Yeah,
because we think we're perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think delegate and elevate is a big
theme
of EOS and any operating system for a business.
Definitely.
But how you grow. We've talked about, it's all about who, not how. And that delegate and elevate is an important piece of who, not how. How has EOS impacted your role as COO?
I came into EOS kicking and screaming. You guys know it. I thought it was crazy to get in this room with some guy who's never done construction a day in his life and tell us how to run our business. And I am here to say I'm wholeheartedly on the EOS train now.
Yes, sir.
It has greatly helped me run meetings. It's greatly helped me solve issues. It's greatly helped me set priorities and goals. And it's very crucial. And I think a lot of people in the construction world know how chaotic construction can be. There's just so many things happening from so many different angles, and there's problems every day. It's what we do. And so this EOS is a platform to actually solve these problems and check boxes and not just mindlessly work and forget what we were doing the day before. It's made a lot of accountability across our teams, and it's allowed a platform for them to address concerns with being very diplomatic about it. Nobody having, implosion moments.
Yeah, and I would like to expand on that one point. You said it allows us to address problems, but it also allows us to find the root of the problem. If you can figure out what the root of the process that's causing the problem and fix that, then the problem goes away.
Yep.
And so I feel like Elton's done a good job of allowing us to find those roots.
I think you and I always have like a bigger buy-in. It's harder for us to buy into certain things that Sean brings to us. And I think part of it is just like, oh gosh, this is another thing that we need to add to our plate. But then ultimately EOS and other things that we've joined have simplified how we set goals and core values, right people, right seats. Like it gives us a path on how to move forward with certain problems and solutions. And then, so in our organization, Sean is the visionary and Josh is the integrator. How has the trust between the integrator and visionary evolved over time? So really, how has your relationship evolved over time?
In EOS, EOS has different structures, but they're all kind of similar. But one component of EOS in the accountability chart is a visionary. And the visionary is not in every organization. The visionary is somebody with big ideas, sees the future. If you think of the idea person, right? They've constantly got ideas. They're constantly thinking about things from the 30,000 foot level. That is your visionary in every organization. And then you have the integrator. And the integrator is really kind of shifting through those ideas and figuring out what works now, what's too big for now, and then kind of executing on those ideas or in the actual operation system. So
what's the process to get there? How are we going to get there?
So Josh is our integrator and I am the visionary.
And it's the seagull analogy that we utilized in
we did talk about the seagull last time.
Which is, Sean shitting all over everything and then flying away.
And I do
Which
it to
honestly
Josh
is better. It's better for him to leave the room. Okay, so how has the trust between you guys built over the last 5 years?
I think it was hard for Sean at first because, I am the best looking guy in the room.
So intimidating.
But I try to remain humbly confident here. And no, Sean and I really blossomed in our relationship, in my opinion, because we understand the need for one another. I do get wrapped up so much into the operation of things that I forget to really look at, some of these visionary ideas and what's going to bring this business to the next level. And because Sean does fly at 30,000 feet, I like to bring him to okay, well, here's the operational level and, here's how we can achieve some of these high-level vision. So
here's what all the team members are saying. Because Josh has his pulse on all the team members all the time, which is critical too.
And I've told Sean, I've thanked him many times because I actually quite enjoy how he challenges me. Sean 6 a.m, challenging me every day. So
Ooh, that early?
He's ready to go. And I enjoy that because that is my personality too. I like working with people who are focused. I like working with people who genuinely care with what they're doing. Sean gives me a lot of inspiration on a daily basis that we can achieve our goals.
Yes, sir.
What a compliment.
Thank you, Josh.
Now it's your turn.
I agree. I mean, I think that your influence in our company is a major component of where we've gotten to. Your knowledge of construction is amazing. You do help us understand the trade side of everything and, you know, the pressure they're under and how they work. You're really great with clients too, and that's a very tough skill to be able to talk to subs and clients professionally and do an amazing job. And then at the same time, deal with managed people. I mean, that in itself is a very difficult challenge because we're all on the same page trying in the same direction, but you know, we all have kind of issues and situations to get there. And so you've got to manage them. You got to manage me and Diana. You got to manage the subs and the clients. And I don't think there's many people who have the skills that you have. And so you've been an amazing partner and ally. And I think that where we're at with you being the integrator, me being the visionary, has worked really well. And I think I've helped you and you've helped me because I can't just seagull on everybody because then nobody knows what to do. So I just seagull on Josh now and Diana and then they figure out what to do and what not to do.
Yeah, but let's talk about me really quickly. I'm above both.
Yes. Let's not forget.
Period.
Diana is the Oracle. They're NEOS.
No.
There is one more box on our
that we've
organization
created.
only called the Oracle.
It is the Oracle.
Or the Queen.
No, I mean,
And we understand our pecking order
Yes, we do.
quite well.
Yes, we do.
no.
Yes,
But
we do.
no, I think what's really cool about the relationship with the three of us is, first of all, how lucky that we are to like have found the three of us, of course, to work together. It's extremely respectful. We all listen to each other really well. We take critiques from each other really well, and we don't even see them as being critical. Like, our relationship is so easy between the three of us that it like flows really nicely.
Very organic.
It feels super organic, and it never feels like threatening in any way. But I think also a thing that Josh does really well is, you know, he's in between like you and the rest of the team, and then me too and the rest of the team. And Sean's personality needs that person in between because Sean is extraordinarily direct and that's not always received very well. So having Josh have his pulse on like the team and the employees has been really incredible, and I also think frees you up to be a visionary.
Yeah, and I also think Sean needs someone that he can be direct to and not get
Yes.
offended every 2 seconds.
Yes.
And I don't take offense because I understand that Sean's goal is to be the #1 builder in Austin. And so everything that he's working on is to achieve that goal. That lack of offenseness is actually important too,
It is.
because
Yeah.
you got to take emotion out of it, and we're trying to be the best business.
Yeah, and I think it would be interesting for people to like listen to you guys or all three of us in a meeting sometimes, because they do get intense and they get high energy, but it's like very respectful. And I think that's the difference between like good leadership teams and leadership teams that aren't getting a lot done.
I also know how to throw a well-timed joke in the mix as well.
Well, you also know when to push back and be like,
Right.
Sean,
Yeah.
did you think about it from these
Or,
three different angles?
Diana, what are you thinking?
More rare. More rare. It's mostly looking at you. Okay.
All right, Mr. Integrator. When you got to Skelly Build, what were the biggest operational challenges you encountered in the first year? And then how did we transition from there to now?
One of the biggest hurdles was getting a lot of what was working put down on paper and getting to be followed, you know, unanimously across the board with the team. We spent a great deal that first year working on our processes, implementing our rough and verification, implementing our job closeout, and implementing a lot of strategy behind making sure customers did get the highest level of service on their projects, and we did deliver a high quality product to our customer. And so it wasn't easy, and there were some right people, right seats that needed to happen within the company. And so that first year was stressful in that sense of there's a lot of information in a construction company that has to get documented. And in my experience, a large portion of construction companies don't put effort into it. It's tough for the team because there's a lot of like, well, whose job is that? Whose responsibility is this? How, I didn't know that. And so we worked really hard that first year to put our playbooks together where everybody in the company knows not only what their role is, but what they're in charge of and what their responsibilities are. And we set expectations across the board, and again, reasonable expectations. That's our big word that we like to use in construction is, there's reasonable and unreasonable. And there was nothing that we set in place that could not be done and achieved. And I think that was critical that first year to where we're at today, to where now we're fine tuning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I would agree. When you came on, it was a smaller team, but everybody was kind of doing it their own way. And we kind of took ideas into what works per person and kind of put together the plan and wrote it down. And we still update those SOPs consistently because we're still, we're pleased but not satisfied. And so we're still trying to improve and prove to Austin that we are the #1 custom builder and remodeler. And that's not going to stop. And that improvement can't stop because we're not there.
So a big difference between actually having a COO and not in a construction company is like all of these things are put in place by one person, right? It doesn't happen internally. Like a project manager or superintendent is not going to have the time to do these things. They're managing job sites and trades. So actually having that role in a construction company is hugely different.
Yeah, and it helps free up our time too to do things that are more beneficial to us.
Yeah, and another operational thing, I think that, coming from a lot of the construction commercial side, I was able to kind of see what strategy worked well there and try to implement some of that into the home building side, which are two completely different animals altogether, but some of it does correspond with the other. And I think the big thing that first year for us was saying, okay, on these really complex projects, it doesn't really work a PM stopping by 3 to 5 times a week. Like you really do need boots on the ground to make command decisions if the job's going to go fast. And at the end of the day, that's what customers want. They want great quality. They want a project that moves fast, and they want it to be respected along the way and get all the information of what's happening in real time. And in order to achieve that, we realized that the operation of the job site itself needed to change. And so I think that was a big strategy our first year was, what does the operation of the job site look like?
Yeah, and you're also really good at looking at a lot of things from many different angles instead of like being black and white on things. You look at things from different angles. Your opinions can change. Our opinions as a group can change. And I think like being fluid in that has been really helpful because like there's been a lot of examples. But okay, rapid fire. I like this one. What's one word the team would use to describe you?
The Grinch.
Oh, we're describing ourselves?
We are.
Okay. One word that the team would use to describe me, passionate.
Thoughtful?
What something people might not know about you?
Actually, I changed my answer. Direct. That's. I'm like, I don't know why. Okay, what's something people might not know about you?
I've worn a Whoop for 4 years straight.
I know that because you talk about it every single damn day.
I do not.
Yes, you do.
I'm a huge video game nerd. Love video games.
What do people not know? I mean, a million trillion things.
Okay, we'll move on.
Okay.
If you could go anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Amsterdam.
Destin, Florida.
Key West.
I love it. Anywhere in the world. Oof.
We can make that happen, Josh. Oh, Japan, too. I've had 3 conversations about people going to Japan in the last week, and it just sounds really
Sushi?
fun.
Lots of sushi?
Well, apparently
Sushi
they're the new love culture.
What's that mean?
Like it used to be France.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they're saying that Japan is the new love culture.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'll look into that.
Yeah.
Where do I want to go? I haven't been. Anywhere in South America, so I've never been.
Okay, there we go.
Cool.
Ooh, what would you be doing if you weren't in construction? I would do a travel agency.
Nice.
I am very attracted to the AI world.
You're attracted to it? Okay.
Definitely building custom hot rods.
Nice.
Yeah.
This is just for Josh. What's your favorite tool?
Yeah.
Oh God, I have so many.
Okay, name
that's
a
tough
couple of
one.
them then.
My favorite tool would probably be my battery 3/8 ratchet by Milwaukee. And just because I spent so many years ratcheting things with a regular hand ratchet, and then when that came along, I was like, dude, this is a game changer. Like,
Can't they come up with a better word than ratchet?
well, that's what it is. It's a ratchet.
Most used phrase on the job site.
Fuck.
Yeah. I was literally. Yeah, I don't know if anyone knows, but F-bombs fly around in the construction world.
I think just stunned at how amazing things look too.
Yeah, yeah.
Inbox 0 or controlled chaos. God, does anybody have an inbox
Golly,
of 0?
mine's controlled chaos.
I'd be
for
scared
sure.
if my inbox was at 0, first of all.
It would feel nice, but like definitely
Might mean I don't have
controlled
a
chaos.
job anymore.
There you go. Yeah, we want controlled
Yeah,
chaos.
yes,
Yeah, nothing's coming in. Okay, so every month, business ownership and leadership teaches us a lot of new things, people, systems, ourselves. Do you guys have one example of something you learned from a recent project or a mistake that turned into a learning lesson from the last month?
We mentioned today delegate and elevate. I think that's just such an important piece of leadership, and we have 40 people on our team, and in our future we need more, and so we constantly need people to delegate and elevate to get to that next level so that we can grow as a firm. We can't get stuck in doing the same thing. We also have to delegate and elevate if our company is going to grow and get bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a couple on that, I think my biggest takeaway this month has been how much an individual's personality can affect the team. We had a pretty big position that we transitioned to a new employee this last month, and it's made a significant difference. A majority of it is because of this new employee's personality and bringing a lot of positivity and passion. And so it's been a big kind of eye-opener for me of making some right people, right seat decisions quicker because of how important personalities are with the team.
Yeah, something that Josh is really good at, and I think operations managers are really good at too, is thinking through people on the team that align with our core values but might not be in the right seat and figuring out where they should go, because you've had a lot of success with that. Let's just quickly talk about something funny or chaotic in our home lives this week. I have some silly stories from our
Go ahead.
5-year-old. So yesterday she comes up to me we were at Chick-fil-A, and she goes, "Mom, I learned the worst word that I could ever say possible." And I'm thinking, oh shit, like what is it? Obviously all kids are like parrots, right? And she comes to my ear and she whispers, "Liar, liar, pants on fire." She goes, "That's the worst thing I could ever say, right?" I was like, "Yep, that's it. That's the worst thing you could ever say." And then this morning she had her jacket tailored because her zipper wasn't working. And she goes, "Who fixed my jacket?" And I said, "Taylor." She goes, "Taylor Swift fixed my jacket?"
That's
Oh,
awesome.
God.
A funny story for me is my 2.5-year-old boy is now 90% potty trained, and so
90.
he is doing really good, and it's just funny to see a little boy like run to the bathroom, pull his pants down. You know, he just kind of naturally aims it and then just fires. It's just hilarious to watch him from the back. Like his back is arched, and he doesn't.
He's like,
he
yeah.
doesn't like just going like where it's going.
Last night when you weren't there, 100% of the pee went on the floor. He was like screaming at me. He's like, "Mom, Mom, I peed on the floor." Oh, God.
All right.
Josh's child is a lot older than ours.
Yeah, definitely have those good memories. With the boys, you still learn to aim your whole life. You know,
Sean still pees on the floor.
That never goes
In the
away.
morning, I was like, "Sean, this is pee on the floor."
Like it wasn't me. It was never me.
In my household, my son's 17, and he's a 4.28 GPA student. He's in all honors classes in AP, and so it's been a little bit more of a serious week because we have SATs going on, and my son's my pride and joy, and I love him with all my heart, and he's just been doing great at killing it with all his tests, and so I've just been trying to motivate and inspire him, and let him know that there's light at the end of the tunnel. I always like to remember, as a 16, 17-year-old, you do have a lot of stress, anxiety, and drama in your life, and sometimes as adults we forget how stressful that age period was. Your body's changing, there's expectations set on you, and I can tell there's days he just wants to go play his video games in his room. So I think he's been doing a fantastic job at handling the pressure and handling the expectations that we've put for him.
Yeah, and I think your emotional intelligence level directly reflects to him, which is like one of the best parenting tools that you can give him.
Yeah.
Which is really important. I mean, it's really important to be able to like emotionally recognize what your kid needs.
Definitely.
Yeah, I agree.
Parenting is very important to all three of us, and I think that's also part of like why we work so well together, because family is first.
And we do respect the work-life balance. And, I know that your son was in football and wrestling, and, we wanted you to be at those things because that's important to us and that's important to you.
And I appreciate that.
Let's kind of talk about the family element as also in your professional career. You were more of a workaholic at times, and you've tried to find that balance between workaholic and spending time with your wife and kid. And so kind of talk through what your work-life balance is. And so how did y'all manage the family life together, both being professionals with a son?
A lot of it comes down to how hard you're chasing money. When I was younger, money meant everything to me, and things took a back seat because I was so just gung-ho on chasing money. And as I got older and had some life experiences along the way, it really made me realize that the money is not the priority. The priority is using the money to have good quality time with your family. And so if you don't take a step back and make that happen, then it'll all pass you by before you know it. That's been my biggest takeaway really since I moved to Austin. Las Vegas runs at a very high tempo. And so it was actually kind of weird when I moved here, because I was like, wow, the South really is a little slower, and it was a good,
people do say that. Yeah.
It was a good thing though, because that churn and burn lifestyle of construction on the West Coast, you almost feel like use you until you got nothing left and spit you out, and next one get in line. If there's one thing about Texas that I really like, is Texas itself has some really good core values, and family is very important to Texas. And so even in the business world, family is important. That's something that I didn't get before. And so, yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed going to the events and seeing my son's football games and going to wrestling matches and doing the extracurricular things that before I would have avoided because I wasn't making money during that. And
or you felt like you had to be in that grind to like further your career
to
path.
survive.
Yeah.
To survive. Yeah. And so that's been my biggest takeaway of the work-life balance, is that my marriage has never been in a better spot. My son and me have a great love for each other. We do a lot of projects together. My son helped me completely restore 1963 Nova that we've done since we moved here. And I just don't think that would have ever been possible with the lifestyle that I had before.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, that is awesome. I love that.
What's something about being a parent that surprised you?
I was wild in my youth, Sean. I was a wild child.
And how old were you when you had Maverick? You were young.
So my wife was 21 and I had just turned 23.
Yeah. So that's a reality check real fast.
I was super stressed out about it. Obviously, at 23 years old, I had, partying on my mind and hanging out with friends and socializing. And so it was certainly difficult at that moment to change who I was as a person. But the second Maverick came into this world, it did give me a renewed sense of purpose. And it made me realize that I have an opportunity to kind of change things that I didn't necessarily enjoy about my upbringing. Me and my dad have zero relationship. So I always kind of envied sons and fathers that really enjoyed each other. And I think that's what I'm actively always working towards with him.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
That is the legacy.
Yep.
To leave.
Well, we want to say thank you, Josh, for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Sean.
You've been a pleasure.
You're always a pleasure.
In the last 4 years. Everyone listening, we invite you to submit questions, follow on social, rate, share, and subscribe. We have a lot of great guests coming to the podcast. And
Josh will be here more too.
Josh will continue to be here. He is a very important part of Skelly Build, and he will be on these podcasts to kind of help facilitate these guests. So thank you, Josh.
Yeah, thank you guys.